You didn't fight. You didn't drift on purpose. But now, your closest friend feels like a stranger, and you don't even know when it happened. It's not because they changed, and it's not because you did either. It's because life did exactly what it's wired to do: sort your connections by purpose. In 1789, two revolutionaries stood shoulder to shoulder against tyranny: Maximilien Robespierre and Georges Danton. They were inseparable architects of the French Revolution, bonded by vision and blood. But just 5 years later, Danton was dragged to the guillotine under orders signed by Robespierre himself. What changed? As the revolution escalated, so did their roles. Danton wanted peace. Robespierre wanted purity. One man stayed radical, and the other became tired of the cost. Their lives no longer aligned. Historian Ruth Skur, in her biography of Robespierre, wrote that the revolution devoured not only its children, but also its friendships. That's not betrayal, it's historical entropy. Because when roles change, closeness often can't keep up. Modern psychology explains this with Laura L. Carstensen's work in the 1990s as socioemotional selectivity theory. When we're young, we collect friendships like souvenirs, seeking novelty, identity, and expansion. But once we step into marriage, parenthood, grief, or career pressure, our brain restructures its emotional priorities. Romantic partners, children, or demanding careers begin to monopolize our emotional bandwidth. Neuroscientist Robin Dunbar found we can only cognitively manage about 150 social relationships, with just 5 being truly close relationships. As life becomes more demanding, you reallocate emotional bandwidth toward the relationships that give the highest return for the least emotional effort. This pruning is largely unconscious, but reflects an adaptive social strategy, which is, you prioritize deep connections over extensive ones as demands on your life increase. So when a partner, child, or purpose walks in the room, someone else is emotionally edged out. When you get married, your oxytocin levels rise, and your partner becomes the emotional center. When you grieve, cortisol spikes, and your brain narrows your circle to the safest few. When you become a parent, dopamine attaches to your child, and friendships that once felt effortless suddenly feel like labor. In your 20s, your brain focuses on identity, intimacy, and friendships that mirror your self-discovery. In your 30s and beyond, the focus shifts to productivity, family, or purpose. You look for friendships that support your life structure. And as these tasks evolve, so does the utility and emotional payoff of certain friendships. A once close friend who no longer fits your life path starts to feel emotionally distant, even without conflict. That's why your college best friend, who once knew every secret, now feels like a voicemail you never check. Not because they changed, but because your brain updated its social software without consulting your heart. Older adults also demonstrate higher emotional regulation and are less tolerant of superficial or high-maintenance friendships. A study in psychological science written in 2012 found that as people age, they're more likely to invest in low-conflict, emotionally supportive relationships, even if that means letting go of long-standing but emotionally taxing ones. Freud and Jung loved each other's minds, but their lives outgrew the version of the other they were once aligned with, and so will you. Because in every new chapter, your brain isn't asking, who do you love most? It's asking, who helps me survive right now? And letting go doesn't mean the friendship failed. It means your story needed a new chapter. So if you like this dive into human psychology through history, please consider liking and subscribing for more videos like this. Thanks for watching Historic Psychology, and I'll see you on the next one.